atmospheric rivers.
It's been horrendous.
Big temperature swings across the nation this week. So what causes the mercury to rise and fall so quickly?
It can go from feeling like spring. By the next morning, it seems like you're scraping ice off the windshield.
How to save money on your home energy bills during cold weather months.
The further they drop the degrees, they'll be able to save about 1 to 3%.
Plus, our weather lesson of the day. Learn how black ice forms, why snow crunches, and why cloudless nights are typically the coldest during the winter.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Angela Brown. The rain is starting to ease in Washington state today, but the threat of flooding will stick around for another few days. This latest atmospheric river pushed several rivers past their limits, causing levees to breach in a number of locations. And when that happens, communities flood like here, right here in the town of Pacific. It also leads to rescues like this one right here in King County, where first responders rescued a driver stranded in their car. Unfortunately, one man died after officials say he drove past closed road signs and into a ditch full of water. Levees also have weak spots that are still holding back the water but could break at any time. That's why thousands of people are still out of their homes waiting for the all clear. We have a number of reports on the flooding and the levee breaches. We start with Joel Moreno and early morning floods that jolted people out of their bed.
Emergency alerts blared down from above and filled the streets as police officers fanned out, warning neighbors that floodwaters were quickly approaching.
It's kind of tough to wake up like that, you know, from a dead sleep in the middle of the night, and then you're having to walk through, you know, knee-deep water that's really cold.
I was gonna stay. I was gonna hold out, and then the helicopter came and said evacuate, you know, go now.
Firefighters say about 220 homes ended up being evacuated along the White River in Pacific. Many are likely damaged, and cars in the streets were partially submerged as people scrambled to reach safety.
We had a bag, each of us had a bag packed like last week. So it was we got out pretty quick.
Emergency management officials say a temporary barrier failed that makes up the levee system, prompting the evacuation orders. At the flooding's height, it was a harrowing event.
They were taking people out with boats out of the neighborhoods, like helping all the grandmas and grandpas get out of the boats because they can't walk.
People were breaking my fence, going, you know, trying to get to safety.
No reports of anyone seriously hurt, but people are worried about what's next to come.
Well, I don't think we're really out of the woods yet.
In the North Cascades,
It's been horrendous.
relentless rain in the last 2 weeks.
It's just been kind of nonstop.
As the rain falls in the mountains and flows downstream,
it is awe-dropping. It's concerning. That river's concerning.
The Skagit and Baker rivers are overflowing. The town of Concrete rests at the confluence of those two rivers. Just north of town, the Lower Baker Dam.
We did get some stuff ready in case we have to run out the door.
Emergency officials have been going door to door to tell those who live within the 100-year floodplain about the potential for evacuations, as dam releases could lead to rapid river rise.
We just decided to hold our ground and wait till the last minute, which is stupid.
Gusty winds through midweek could knock over trees and loosen heavily saturated soil on hillsides.
It's a temporary fix, but it's good enough for now. The levee breach on the Green River in Tukwila has been plugged with sandbags and gravel, a much different scene than 24 hours earlier when water was pouring out of the Green River and into an industrial park.
Right in the middle of the road.
Long Wind first saw the levee leaking on Monday.
I walk out for my lunch and I see all the bubble coming up. I see the water running.
He alerted his boss, who called the city, and crews came rushing over right as water came rushing through.
You can see the water start to coming up, and later on, you know, that thing just fall down.
The county ordered the area to evacuate, and utility crews brought in truckloads of what are called super sacks. After a few hours of work, they had it plugged up.
It's not typical to have these levees have this much water behind them for this long. And so they're getting saturated and they're starting to show the effects of that.
With more than a week of flooding and high water, the levees are being put to the test, and they'll need to hold out a few more days. City and county engineers know the weak spots, so the best they can do now is stay vigilant and rely on help from the public.
Washington State is now facing weather whiplash. Wet weather sticks around into the weekend, but it's getting much cooler and also snowy. A blizzard warning is in place for the mountains around Seattle, where as much as 2 feet could fall through tonight. It will also be windy, not just in Washington, but high alerts extend all the way to Iowa and Minnesota. That includes all or part of 17 states. Now this week, portions of the country have seen drastic shifts in temperature. For example, right here in D.C., area temps were in the teens at the start of this week, but today highs will be in the 50s. Meteorologist Kate Alexander explains what's behind the temperature swings and why they are so common this time of the year.
All complements of the jet stream. You have the polar air to the north, and it's separated by the jet stream with the warmer air to the south in the tropics. And of course, the extremes really can amplify this jet. You can get big old dips and ridges that develop. Like when you have the ridge off to the west, you have that warmer air under the ridge, while in the meantime, the east will be sitting under a dip, and it has that colder air from the polar vortex moving all the way down to the south. So really what's helping to amplify this jet this time of year, really temperature is key, and the pressure, the weight of the air, because the cold air is a lot more dense than the warmer air that expands to the south. So you have those big differences in temperature. It amplifies the jet. And we've already seen this season, we've had some pretty big dips that's already been moving down to the south. It also strengthens the winds because that pressure gradient. I'm sure you've heard meteorologists talk about that. The weight of the air, it varies quite a bit, sometimes within a short amount of distance. Also, the strength of the winds, the amplification of the jet can also strengthen storms, winter storms that can also pull in sometimes that moisture from the Gulf. And of course, you get the right setup, you can get a big old storm to set up. And of course, it varies every single year. But one thing is a guarantee for this winter. We are seeing some dips in the jet stream, which means that at times we are going to have some pretty big cold fronts.
As of this morning, nearly 25% of the lower 48 is covered by snow. That's actually a little higher than the same day last year. But because of the temperature swings, much of it may not last until Christmas. Meteorologist Jordan Evans has an early look at the Christmas forecast.
Well, we're just a week away now from the holidays, and we are starting to get a look at the weather forecast for Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. The Climate Prediction Center suggests that temperatures will be well above average for much of the country as the jet stream goes farther north into Canada and the Great Lakes, so that would lower the chances for snowfall and potentially snow on the ground for a white Christmas this year. Here's the temperature outlook so far. We're looking at well above average temperatures all the way up to South Dakota, parts of Colorado and Missouri. 50s and 60s, and even close to 80 degrees around Austin, Texas. Upper 70s from Florida to low 70s in Atlanta, Georgia. The Mid-Atlantic 40s and 50s right now, but Christmas Day, some of that warm air pushes even farther north. Chicago up to 38 degrees, Detroit there at 33, and New York City 39. Another weather maker entering parts of the Northwest may have some rain and higher elevation snow, but so far snow chances look to be quite low across much of the country for Christmas Day of this year. For the National Weather Desk, I'm meteorologist Jordan Evans.
And time now for a look at weather in cities across the nation. And we start on the East Coast along the Chesapeake Bay. This is the town of Annapolis, the capital of Maryland. The city's home to the oldest state house in continuous legislative use. After 3 weeks of below average temps, Maryland will see a warm up today with a high of 50 degrees. Now we're heading north now to Pennsylvania, where they are making snow at the Camelback Mountain in the Poconos. The resort has 18 ski and snowboarding trails open, as well as this tubing hill right here. They are expecting a mild winter day with cloudy skies and highs in the lower to mid 40s. Well, people in San Antonio woke up to a dense fog advisory this morning. Visibility is 1/4 of a mile or less. Even after the fog clears, it will be cloudy and rainy today. Highs are in the mid to upper 60s. And finally, we're going to see it right here, a beautiful Christmas tree and decorations. Outside a shopping mall near Boise, Idaho, winds here are expected to gust up to 40 miles per hour later today. There will also be light rain and apparently a high in the low 50s. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, home heating costs are rising across the country. We'll show you ways you can save on heating this winter season, and we'll help you better understand black ice and why it's so dangerous.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with Look at the Northeast. We have a fairly quiet pattern over the next 2 days in the Northeast, but things will change on Friday. This afternoon, we have some increasing clouds as a weak front approaching from the west. Most of you will top out in the 30s and 40s. There will be a stiff southwest wind today, a little gust 20 to 30 miles per hour. Thursday will showcase a lot of sunshine in the Northeast. The next weather maker will be on Friday. Expect rain, strong winds, and mild temps.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. We will be staying dry and thawing out heading over the next few days. Temperatures will finally have a chance to warm up and we'll get a little sunshine. Thursday is when our next system approaches. We'll be seeing rain becoming likely, especially late in the evening and overnight hours, helping to rinse some of that road salt away. But temperatures will be milder. We're actually rising to the 40s to low 50s, and that will be the same even on Thursday with some gusty winds.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Collins with a look at your southeast forecast. We're watching as the system moves across the Mississippi River Valley, set to bring a chance for rain across parts of Mississippi, heading into the northern coast, Gulf Coast as well, and then eventually a few showers there for the Carolinas and even across Central and North Florida heading into Thursday. Afternoon highs will range anywhere from the 60s for your Wednesday across the Carolinas and through the Mississippi River Valley, into the upper 60s for the northern Gulf Coast and into the mid 70s for most of Central and South Florida.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Despicable or not? Doorbell camera video captured this moose battling minion-themed holiday decorations until it was lights out for the adornments. And in the Green Bay area, Gemma the dog is not despicable, just a drop of mischief, but enough to land her on the naughty list. And check out these icy views of Lake Huron from Tuesday.
The winter chill is settling into parts of the country. Unfortunately, home heating costs are not settling down. They're jumping higher by more than 10% this year in some parts of the country. Carter Landis has more from experts, including some money-saving tips.
Data from the National Energy Assistance Directors Association shows natural gas prices are up by more than 8%. John Freeman of Temperature Pro in Portage says along with rising natural gas prices, several other factors contribute to a cold house and a higher need to crank up that temperature. That includes insufficient or broken equipment.
This morning I had a call where the chimney cap was knocked off for the fireplace, and it was a direct vent fireplace, so it was letting tons of cold air come in through the chimney. You could put your face up to the fireplace and it felt like a fan was blowing on you. So that'll significantly impact utility bills.
Consumers Energy says if you're seeing a higher heating bill, try making your ceiling fan spin clockwise to circulate warm air. They also suggest turning off your heat when you leave and turning it back on when you get home.
The further they drop the degrees, they'll be able to save about 1 to 3% per degree on their rates.
Freeman sharing some tips on how to save money as well.
So you can go from a lot of the type of furnaces that are out there, so 80% efficient, and now you can go up to 97% efficient. So that makes a big difference in the utility bills.
This time of the year, we all start thinking about snow, but not all snow is the same. Different types of snow accumulates at different rates. Meteorologist Joy Bedenhausen explains.
You may hear about snow ratios when forecasting snow for the winter seasons. Let's explain what goes into these snow ratios. Temperatures and moisture play a crucial role in determining our snow ratios for a particular event. And did you know that the snow ratio could actually change during one singular event, meaning snow forecasting is difficult? Let's take for our first example a heavy wet snow. Great for snowball fights, snowmen, not great to shovel. In that instance, you have a lot of moisture present, but likely temperatures are warmer and maybe closer to the freezing mark, 32 degrees. So in that instance, your snow ratio would be lower, maybe around 6 inches of snow would equal just 1 inch of water. But in our second example, you've got drier air, but you also have colder temperatures, likely closer to 0 degrees. Well, it doesn't take much liquid to turn around and make a whole lot more snow. So in this example, 20 to 1, you could easily get 20 inches of snow with just 1 inch of liquid.
Snowmobiling is one option for winter recreation. So what type of snow is best for that sport? And what does it take to maintain those trails? To find out, meteorologist Ethan Foreman spoke with folks from local snowmobile clubs in Michigan.
Grooming of the snow on the snowmobile trail with our drags basically is taking the fluffy, untouched snow, manipulating it, twisting it, turning it around, and then pushing it out the back of the drag to flatten it down.
Steve Haver, the president of the Grand Traverse Area Snowmobile Club near Fife Lake, says that grooming its 88 miles of trails is very important.
To help hold the snow on the trail and remove all of the moguls from the trail, which would be bumps in the trail.
In order to have good snowmobiling conditions, it's always good to have a certain type of snow.
A good snow for packing on the trail or grooming on the trail would be, we can have snow that's got very low moisture in it and it's all wispy and fluffy and blows away. That's not a good snow because it will not compact.
However, there are some weather conditions that make grooming a lot harder.
The worst type of snow is extremely wet snow once we get above 32 degrees, because then it just wants to ball up in the drag. We have 4 main runs that we do during the week, and every day we do 2 of those runs. So it takes 2 days to groom the entire system, and we run it twice.
Paul Anderson, a volunteer of the Grand Traverse Area Snowmobiling Club, says that they prepare much earlier in the year for the winter.
We start preparing for snowmobiling in July. We start brushing and we start doing all kinds of grading and stuff like that, signing.
Anderson says that the timing of the snow this year is really good.
Past years, we don't see snow until January. Everybody's got the itch, so we get 8 inches of snow, and before you know it, everybody's out tearing up before we can even get out there and try to pack a base down.
And winter isn't just about snow. Ice can also be a major factor. Black ice is a winter weather possibility that can cause danger on the roads. Meteorologist Teresa Carter explains how it forms.
Black ice is a thin coat of highly transparent ice, making it nearly impossible to see. It's called black ice since it looks black, like the color of the road pavement it forms on. If the temperature rises above freezing or the sun comes out during the day, any snow on the ground will slowly melt and cause road surfaces to become wet. If it rains, that could also lead to wet roadways with some puddles. If the temperature then drops below freezing while the ground is still wet, black ice will likely form on paved surfaces due to the refreezing. It forms most commonly at night or in the early morning hours when the temperatures are the lowest or when the sun is not around to warm the roads. Roadways become very slippery when black ice forms, leading to hazardous driving conditions and an increased risk of car accidents. Black ice develops faster on bridges, overpasses, and the road beneath overpasses. This is because the cold air is able to cool both the top and under the bridge or overpass faster.
Less nights, but why is this the case? Meteorologist Dante Ricky explains.
Clouds have both a positive warming and negative cooling impact on our environment when it comes to the transfer of heat. But interesting enough, nights with clear skies are colder than nights with cloud cover. Why is that? Well, that emitted long-wave radiation from the ground gets caught within the clouds, and that prevents temperatures from cooling down all the way, effectively keeping heat in the environment. So you might have a warmer low temperature with very minimal frost potential. However, think about this. Clear skies and snow-covered ground. Snow has a very high albedo or reflectivity. The thing is, though, that also emits more long-wave radiation. With no clouds in the sky, more of that can escape as latent heat to the environment, trapping less heat at the ground and causing even colder temperatures outside. And that's why nights with clear skies and snow-covered ground tend to be the lowest low temperatures possible during the winter season. I'm meteorologist Dante Ricky.
And time now for a short break, but first we take in views of Christmas lights in Manchester, Maryland.
Well, a very good Wednesday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. Almost all of the Midwest will likely do some melting today. A little colder up here towards Green Bay, only 29 for the high for you. Tomorrow, we've got rain moving its way in, some snow showers across the far north. That rain and warmer temperatures is going to do a lot of melting for a lot of the Midwest, but still stays cold, especially to the north on your Friday.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. Here's a look at your regional weather. Getting a little chilly early this morning for our friends in Amarillo. Back over in Oklahoma City, sitting into the 30s. Everybody else into the 50s and some 60s down toward the south, almost 70 in Brownsville. Scattered areas of showers moving along the coastal regions of Texas all the way back up into East Texas. Just clouds, but you'll see more sunshine coming up today. That means a little bit warmer day. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. That's a look at your regional weather.
Well, hi there and a good Wednesday morning to everybody. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. In the Pacific Northwest, the weather woes continue, but some whiplash happening as the snow level plunges. A rare blizzard warning over the Cascades into this morning. 69 in the sun in San Diego, back to nearly 80 out of Chandler, Gilbert, and Phoenix. And the snow starts to pile up in earnest over the Continental Divide as we head into the late week as well. And that's the scene from here.
I'm Rebecca Kopelman, Chief Meteorologist at Iowa's News Now Weather First in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and you're watching the National Weather Desk.
Have you ever noticed that some snow is soft and silent when you step on it, and other times it crunches under your feet? Meteorologist Jeff Exline explains why this happens.
Have you ever noticed when you're walking in the snow and it's cold outside, like it is this morning, you get that crunch, that snap, crackle, pop factor going on? Other times when you walk, you don't get that. It's kind of quiet. That's because when temperatures are above 14 degrees, there's actually a layer of water surrounding the snow crystals, and it acts like a lubricant. So when you walk through the snow when it's above 14, you don't get that crunch. Your boot or your shoe melts the snow, basically. But when the temperature is 14 degrees, below 14 degrees, that layer of water is thin. It's like ice, and you're basically just stepping on the ice crystals and compacting them themselves. So that's why the colder it is, you're having crunchy snow. And when it's not as cold, the snow is not quite as crunchy.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great day, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow.